There's one move that Bitcoin is about to do that will catch most of you off guard. I will show you exactly what is going to happen as usual, and will show you how we are going to trade this. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in here on this Tuesday this week. Sorry, the last 2 days I was offline. I had other things to do, but I will be here now every day again. We jump directly into the charts here. And the DXY chart is bouncing here just a little bit, but not a lot. And if we move here by tomorrow and after tomorrow a little bit lower, then the potential W pattern will be also here invalidated, and we're gonna see then more like of a bear flag formation here to the downside. You can draw something like this here, so that could be a potential bear flag, and that would mean that we are definitely breaking here in direction of the 90-point level that we are targeting here. When we're looking at Bitcoin, what's going on here, then funding rates are still extremely low, which means there's so much more upside for Bitcoin, because when we usually get a leverage flush, what happens is that we reverse and go back into the other direction. So now we went down a lot, resetted funding rates. Now most likely we're going back up until they are going to heat up again, and we saw this now also happening yesterday, that Bitcoin rebounded here a little bit also on the weekly chart. So we had here 7 consecutive weekly candles in green, and it was kind of obvious that at some point we need to get a red candle, and that was basically last week's candle here, from all the way from $111,000 approximately all the way down to $103,000. Now we have currently an indecision candle, but we are just we still have 5.5 days left to close that. So this can still turn out to be a really nice green candle, or just stay the way as it is, or even go a little bit lower. So there is a bear trap potential that I'm going to show you here in a moment, just in case that we come down here a little bit lower over the course of the week. But for now, we are getting here a small bounce. And there's of course healthy on the RSI. Also, we are seeing here more of an upturn, which means continuation in the coming weeks, and also the stochastic RSI is not looking that bearish, even though we got here a sell signal on the weekly chart. Now when we go into the lower time frames here on the daily chart, then here something really interesting to observe right now is that here this downward sloping trend line was prior resistance over here, flipped here into support, and is still holding as supports. And at the same time, I measured with the Fibonacci extension levels from the old all-time high to the last bear cycle low, and you can see that we are also getting supported from the extended golden ratio here, the 1.618 at $102,072. And you also gonna see here some of my bull market targets for the end of the bull run. So at least the bare minimum target is here, the 2.618, $155,000, but I expect actually that we go way higher than that. Real target for this run would be close or above $200,000 at the 3.618 at $208,976. And in the best case scenario, and that would be my absolutely bull case, would be all the way up to the 4.618 to $262,400 approximately, while I still don't believe that we potentially going to reach that. But what is most likely going to happen, like in many bull runs before, that we get close to it, so that we go over $200,000, maybe close to 250, and something like 230, 40, maybe even go a little bit over 50. But I don't think that we're going to reach the exact target of the 4.618. Potentially really close if the market is turning here in our favor long term. So when we're looking here on the indicators, MACD is telling us that the sell momentum is definitely fading away here. Stochastic pointing to the upside. Only the RSI is going slightly down here today, but that is because we are still in that resistance area trading that I pointed out here for the last couple of days, where we created the all-time high, and also the prior all-time high is in that zone here from $106,000 to $112,000 approximately. We are also still in that downwards sloping parallel channel here in that bull flag. If we measure just the bull flag target here and we do it conservatively, here a target of, what is that, $125,730. $125,000 and $125,735. So that's what I wanted to say. So that hasn't changed. So, but I also want to point out here, while we have that bull flag formation, price still can come down to the 50 moving average, to touch the 50 moving average, because that is always happening after we getting here a golden cross. So we haven't done that. We are close, but we are not there yet, and haven't touched it completely. So here, if we would continue to go sideways here for the next week or so, then we would most likely have the 50 moving average around $105,000. So if we just move sideways and going to get this, and we touch it here at some point with a quick flush, and then we would continue upwards. So that would be the most bullish scenario. So a bear trap scenario would be that we at some point just break below $102,000, touch it then, and then come back up and continue to go to the upside. So I would be not surprised to see a wick below $100,000 if it's going to happen, but again, that would be not a case for me to close now all my positions. I would actually buy as much as I can all the way down here, or just in the vicinity of the 50 moving average, if we are getting there. But it is more or less guaranteed that at some point, regardless where the 50 moving average is, that price will come and touch it before we get a proper continuation to the upside. It would be pretty surprising if we are going from here straight back up without actually touching the 50 moving average while we are so close to it. If you want to take these trades with me together, guys, then go over to BLOFIN. There is a link in the pinned comment below, in the description below. Trade and earn up to $5,000 on BLOFIN, plus that you will get access to my new alpha Telegram group. I will send later a shit ton of trades in that group, so you want to make sure, because it will be only for that group. I might share some of these trades tomorrow on the YouTube channel, but maybe you missed already the entries. So you want to make sure that you are in that. And to be joining the channel, you have to have only $50 in your BLOFIN account, and send me a message on Telegram that with your BLOFIN account number. That's all that you have to do. So go and check that out. Like I said, there is a link in the pinned comment below and in the description below. And the Telegram group is limited to 200 people, and we are close, really, really close to reach that number. So make sure before you have to wait months and miss a lot of really amazing trades to actually get into that group. So now when we're looking at the 1 hourly chart, so here I pointed out the last week that we're most likely going to get here down there a deviation. This looks not, to me right now like that we have done that. Also here the outline path back to the upside seems to be playing out. So if I move this here a little bit over, so then you see more or less we are following that path here. So if I draw this here a little bit like this, so the imminent target would be, of course, now the prior support level that has now turned into resistance here at $106,600 to $107,200. Once we are flipping this level, Bitcoin flips absolutely bullish again and will most likely try another attempt to break the prior all-time high, especially when we're getting above $108,000 and $109,400. So here in the short term, it looks like that we potentially get here higher low up here and another retest by worst case by tomorrow of that resistance here, and then we have to see if we're going to get another rejection again with a higher low structure and continuation, or if we get a steeper pullback and then continuation, which would still be not the worst, because as long as we're not breaking this low here, anything else is considered a higher low, no matter how low we actually go, as long as we're not breaking this low here at $103,000. And then on the 4 hourly chart with the MDX algo scalp gradient, so here the gradients are heating up again, and we have here another plot again that is indicating a reversal. So remember, we got this also all the way up here. That was an early warning sign that price is reversing to the downside. Now we have here the same thing, an early warning sign that price is going back to the upside while we are in that bullish pennant here. So, and just to reach the top of the pennant, that would be another 3% move roughly at $108,800 to this downward sloping resistance line. So would I open here a trade right now? No, I would only do that if we reclaim the weekly open at $105,600 approximately. From there I would potentially risk it because we have to get above $105,000 to $106,700. That would be the area that I would be longing from, while you need to take in consideration that this is resistance. And you take here basically a gamble, you know, so that when price action comes into that zone here, that we are going to break through that and go to the top side of that pennant here and potentially break through that into higher levels. Then the liquidation levels, also here we see right now a reclaim of that resistance zone here of $105,000. No, not resistance, support zone. So this was all the time support. So we are reclaiming now the top side of that, most likely going to the 50 moving average on the 4-hourly chart to $106,400. We got pretty close to our entry level here on that trade setup. Remember that I said anywhere between $104,000 and $102,000 is a good zone to buy, so you should be filled and in that trade right now. The high leverage liquidity is definitely mostly stacked above us on in short trades. There is some long liquidity below us, but not as much as shorts, and that means that price will be attracted to go to the upside to take out all that liquidity and make market makers a lot of money. So when you go here to the weekly chart, also here on the liquidation heat map, you can clearly see that we have here concentrated liquidity around $106,768 all the way up to like $107,000. And that shows you again that the confluence that we have with everything what I said just earlier, that price will be attracted to go up here. Here we have recently taken out everything that was below, so we can technically go back to $103,000 just to take out all the longs that are down here. But like I mentioned, all the liquidity, the really big sized liquidity is stacked above us here all the way up to $110,000. It looks like that some people took some profit on their shorts because last week we were at $111,000, $112,000, even $113,000 with the highest concentration of liquidity, and that moved down now to $110,000. So I believe that some people have taken a profit, and that's why we have now moved down here. So which also is another indication that price is most likely in the short term going back to the upside, because there's no other reason why you would close your short if you don't think that price would go lower. Now on the total free market cap, so here we finally see early signs also here of a reversal, because we got four consecutive candles going back to the upside. We are still here in that parallel downwards trending channel. The top side would be $895 billion. So another $35 billion that we would add to reach that. Also here, of course, if Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes with it up. So here at some point by this week, I expect to at least reach the top side of that parallel downward sloping channel here. If we're breaking it is another question where I have to look at that when we get there, but long term of even midterm, and we definitely going to reach here $1 trillion. Most likely at some point, maybe even this month already. If you want to trade altcoins, guys, you should not forget that I trade altcoins on a Bybit. You'll still get $30,000 worth of bonuses if you use the link in the pinned comment in the description below. Also a Bybit card and a free $500 airdrop position is also still available, guys. All these links are in the pinned comment below. Definitely get a Bybit account. I will post also here on YouTube a lot more trades that we take together. Most likely from next week onwards, plus that I'm gonna start copy trading again on my account, so you should definitely make sure that you have a Bybit account to take advantage of that. Like I said, there is a pinned link in the description and in the comment below. Now when we look at the Bitcoin dominance, everything is playing out according to plan. I told you guys when we get up here to 64.63% that we're going to see here a reversal from that I don't expect that we would go higher than 65% in the worst case. So and now we're actually pulling back to the downside with a topping formation here, spinning top, a candlestick formation, which is a big reversal pattern. And we are continuing to go here to the downside. So what I need to see here in the short term is a break of 63.5% for a follow through to the downside. And then, of course, we're going to see massive gains in our altcoins. The Ethereum Bitcoin chart here on the weekly has reclaimed the downward sloping trend line. We did not close above that line last week, which was kind of important. So this week we have to. If we would also get rejected here again this week, that would be not really good for our altcoins, but this looks actually right now pretty solid for me for continuation in the coming weeks here into higher levels, and that this week's candle is actually the candle that will manage to stay above that line. So Ethereum therefore also moved here higher with that bullish pennant here. We are about to break out of that pennant. Actually, everything is pretty bullish here on this chart. The indicators telling us that there is more upside coming. So if you're not in a trade yet, you are not too late. You can still enter this here. We are roughly, how much is it? We are just a percent from the entry. So you would be not too late to this trade here to $3,353. Yeah, and now this kind of just flipped green here. So why? Because the MACD is losing momentum on the sell side. Stochastic gave a buy signal, RSI going sideways because we are still technically trading under a resistance area here. But I see here definitely a break in the coming 2 days to the upside. It might be a violent one because we were suppressed for such a long time below that level now here for almost a month. So there could be a really crazy candle pushing us above $3,000 in the next coming days. And the same here on the daily chart. So we fell out of that ascending triangle. Now we are trying to stay above the golden ratio or within the golden ratio. So if we can manage to do that today, I expect, most likely by tomorrow, after tomorrow, that pump to be happening here above that ascending triangle with the targets going all the way up to $3,100. And we can enter the trade, this specific trade here at $2,700. So, and also here that would go back up here. Yeah, and you see this is going exactly into the golden ratio. And Solana also pumping here into the upside on the 12-hourly chart. Here, MACD is about to print a buy signal in with the next 12-hourly candle close. This kind of just opened. The stochastic is already flying. The RSI is slightly going up. So here we have prior support levels that will potentially act now as resistance. So I will be honest, I take on the top side of that resistance here on the current trade that I have profit, and will then have a look if we manage to break through that and then just re-enter, or if we pull back a little bit and I get a better entry than I had on this specific trade before. So I'm of course here in this trade setup on another account also already trading. So here we are currently up. So I kind of entered here at 152. So here I'm up right now roughly 6% more or less on that current trade out of the 33% that I'm taking it with me. So here this bullish broadening falling wedge here will most likely break out in the next coming couple of days, and the target is top of that wedge here at $186. So you also here, you're technically not too late to enter this, but you should wait off the flip of $165, that this is again acting as support with at least 2 free 1 hourly candle closes around that support level. And guys, that's already for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more profit tomorrow.